Hi everyone and welcome back to another Mixed Media Tuesday where I am sharing a new art journal page. So again I'm working on my square art journal and I did promise that I will fill all the pages using the same steps again and again, just to show you that by using the same techniques you can come up with different ideas. So now I'm using again rice paper as my first step, and I do have this old rice paper in my stash that gives that lovely map, and today I'm going for a travel page. So you see here I'm using my paper trimmer to cut out the panel that I want. My page is 6 by 6, so I'm going for a 5 by 5 piece of rice paper, and of course don't throw away the rest. It is perfect for using on another page. As always, I will stick my rice paper down by using rice paper glue, and I'm applying it with a big brush just to make my life easy. Once the rice paper is down, I will make sure to seal it down to cover it again with the same rice paper. Now the inspiration is about traveling, and that's because next week I am going on my crafting cruise. I will be cruising in the US all the way up to Canada and back. I'm super excited about meeting all the ladies there and teaching along with Farrell Taylor. And back to the journal now, since I moved on to the second step. This is the step where I'm adding some white paint. For this project today I'm using a very stiff brush which is completely dry. I'm just dabbing a little bit of white paint and I'm going to apply it randomly in different parts of my page as if I know what I'm doing. I just want to see some brush strokes. Be confident when you do this step. It is going to look fine no matter what. So I will be away for a couple of weeks, but you will not know that I'm away. I have already pre-filmed and scheduled the videos for that couple of weeks, but I may be slow in replying to your comments and questions. Now I like that color up there in the corner, so I want to recreate that. I looked through my stash for a color that matches that one. It is kind of a reddish brown, so I happen to have one in my rusty color set, and I'm going to just apply a little bit with a stiff brush, again completely dry, just dry brushing in the other corner. I think I have a perfect color match and it really complements the page. And since I do have that color, I'm going to also add some splatters all over the page, making sure that the splatters are going to fall outside on the white area, on the white border. So all I did was to add a little bit of water on that paint to make it more runny. And let's move on to the next step. So this is where I grab my stamps and I'm just browsing through the stamps that I have designed. This is where I keep my background designs, and I use them again and again because they are really versatile and I have designed them so that they match pretty much every page. Now these are very popular when I design them. They usually sell out super quickly, so when you see that I come up with a new collection and if you like this type of stamps, make sure that you check them out. So anyway, I am going to move on. I'm using permanent ink and I went with one of those big compasses since I'm going for a travel journal today. So the stamp set that I'm using now is called Alphabet and Numbers, and I believe it is a couple years ago since I have designed it. It is now discontinued, however. Then I'm going to use this grid and I'm going to use my fingers for stamping that. I'm mainly going around the edges, kind of creating a darker border all around. I'm making sure that I go outside of the rice paper, stamping a little bit on top of it and a little bit on the white border, which kind of brings everything together. And I like to stamp with my fingers instead of having a stamping block so I get a more organic look on the border. Now I'm switching to a text stamp and I'm going to stamp with that a little bit here and there again. And this comes from my Elements stamp set, again discontinued from an older collection. But here's a spoiler for you, a new collection is coming soon and I will be releasing a new background stamp there as well. So I'm just going on and on with the background stamping. Sometimes I don't know when to stop. Here I'm using a little circle stamp that has a tiny airplane on top. I'm going to stamp a few times with that as well. And of course, again, keep in mind that at this stage I don't know where I will stick my focal points, so maybe some of this stamping and all the layers that I did here is going to completely be covered up. But I just have fun layer after layer without worrying what will happen next. Next step is to play with stencils, and you can see here I'm going through my collection of stencils. These are all the ones that I have designed throughout the last years, and I'm looking for one that has those compasses, but I decided that it was too busy. So I'm switching to something that gives me text, and I will be using this one. And just because I have already too many things going on my background, I have decided to go with volume paste, which is white, so I will not add an extra color on top of what I already have. Again, adding randomly that stencil here and there, some of it might end up covered up. Now let's talk a little bit about the focal points. I am going to use this Gear Up for Christmas collection, but I'm not going for a Christmas page. Last Tuesday I shared, well, let me show you a page without spoiling the other pages that I have done. Now this is the page that I did last week, where you see I used the houses. Now in this collection there is a bunch of, a stack of suitcases which I want to use. If you do have the 12 by 12 paper pad, they are perfect for art journaling. This is quite small for the 8 by 8 one, as you can see here. They are great for cards, however. So if you do happen to have the 12 by 12 paper pad, you will find those suitcases there, and that's the paper pad that we used last week. But I do have the die cuts. So that's the one that I will be using for this project. But again, if you have the 12 by 12, you are good to go. You will find that design there. However, this is quite thick. I don't want to have it as thick as it is now. And also it is shiny. And I don't want to have shine on my page. I will show you two tricks that I do to make the ephemeras that you have, to make the designs that you have work for you. So here I'm just going to separate the backing. This is going to make it thinner, and it's going to be easy to stick in my page without adding any bulk. And if you feel like you want to go a layer thinner, you can definitely do so. I'm just using my poke tool there to separate the layers. And then stick with me, I will show you how you can get rid of that shine as well. Now on top of my suitcases I want to have a lady sitting, so I'm just going to use my little printer there to print it out. You can go online and find a design that you like, and you can definitely print it out in your normal printer. Just cut it out and then you have something to go. I'm just using my Panorama printer here, but again, use what you have, and you can definitely go online to find images that go well and complement your design in your art journals. Again, this is photo paper, so it is shiny, and I will show you how you can get rid of that shine today on both my suitcases as well as on the lady. Now, I am trying to decide if she is too small for what I have. I am going to finally cut out the suitcases so that I can rearrange them and the whole composition looks more balanced on the page. So I'm using my craft glue and I'm going to create my composition here. Sometimes when my ephemera, that my cutouts are made out of paper, I use my rice paper glue. However, this is kind of thicker, so I better go with a craft glue to make sure that they are going to stay put. However, for the lady, she is printed on a sticker photo paper, so all I have to do for her is to just peel her off and place her down. Now the page looks awesome as it is, however I'm going to use my rice paper glue and go over everything just to show you the tip that I was talking about on how you can get rid of that gloss. if you have glossy elements, if you have photo paper on top and you don't want to see that shine, just go over it with your matte medium or your rice paper glue. When it dries, it's going to be completely matte. But always try the method before you go ahead and try directly on top of your project. It may depend on how you printed your images or what medium you are using. So always try the method on scrap pieces to avoid any smudge and smear. I am going to add my quote, and this is a sticker from one of those Tim Holtz booklets that I have been using for ages now. I am going to stick them down and also make sure that I add a little bit of glue underneath because they are quite old, they don't stick as good as they should. And then like always on this journal, I will be using my big brush markers, my Pitt markers by Faber-Castell, to add some shadows here and there. Now let's be honest here, these are really vibrant suitcases, so you don't really need to do that. However, I'm just enhancing some shadows here and there. I am also going to make sure that I mostly avoid adding too much color on the lady. I feel like she is looking fine as she is. Next step, I grabbed my fine black marker and I'm adding some sketch lines around my cutout just to enhance the shadows, to help some elements pop against each other. And with my white gel pen, I'm adding some highlights completely randomly here and there on top of my elements. And as always, I will finish off my page by adding some white splatters, making sure that they fall on top of the suitcases and leaving her face nice and clean. So that was the project for today. Here are some close-up photos. Links to everything I used can be found down below. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and I'll see you all next week.